Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. The Elizabeth II 1 penny 1993. A simple bronze coin that would one day be worth an unbelievable $31 million. At first glance, it seemed ordinary. A small, reddish-brown disc of metal with the familiar profile of Queen Elizabeth II on one side and the crown portcullis on the other. It was a coin most people would have tossed into a jar, spent on candy, or lost behind a sofa cushion without a second thought. Yet beneath its humble exterior, the 1993 1 penny holds a tale of unexpected rarity, a twist of history, and a beauty that captivates numismatists even 3 decades later. The early 1990s were a transformative time for Britain's coinage. Decimalization had already reshaped the currency system, and by 1993, the Royal Mint was operating with precision and pride under modern standards. Coins featuring Queen Elizabeth II's third portrait, designed by the brilliant sculptor Raphael Makloff, dominated the era. His depiction of the Queen was regal and refined, with a gentle smile, her iconic tiara gleaming in the details, representing stability and grace in a fast-changing world. The 1993 1 penny continued this legacy. Struck in bronze, it weighed 3.56 grams and measured 20.3 millimeters in diameter. The reverse featured the crown portcullis with chains, a design by Christopher Ironside, symbolizing the Palace of Westminster and the heart of British democracy. Below the portcullis, the denomination, 1 penny, was proudly displayed, while above it rested the regal crown, a timeless image of the British monarchy's endurance. But behind the scenes, something unexpected was happening that year. In 1992, the Royal Mint began experimenting with a new composition for its lower denomination coins. The cost of bronze, a mix of copper, tin, and zinc, was rising, and the government sought a more economical alternative. This led to the introduction of copper-plated steel coins. By 1993, the transition was underway, yet confusion and overlap in production created a strange phenomenon. Some coins of that year were struck with the old bronze alloy, while others used the new copper-plated steel. That difference might sound trivial, but in the world of numismatics, small details make massive differences. For collectors, alloy variations, minting errors, and limited production runs turn everyday coins into treasures. Among the 1993 1 pennies, a few pieces were minted under unusual conditions, experimental strikes, die trials, and mint sets that never reached the public. Some of these coins bore subtle differences in color, luster, and even thickness. A handful may have been struck using older dies, giving them slightly varied facial features of the Queen or sharper details on the portcullis. As time passed, most people never noticed. These coins circulated quietly across the nation, exchanged in shops, collected as change, or stashed in drawers. But decades later, numismatists began to uncover anomalies. A few collectors reported that their 1993 1 pennies reacted differently to magnets. Some were attracted, indicating steel, while others were not, indicating bronze. This sparked an investigation that revealed a fascinating overlap between two minting eras, and the discovery of incredibly rare bronze specimens that should never have been produced. Stories began to circulate among collectors' clubs and coin fairs. Did you hear about the 1993 bronze penny that sold at auction? One enthusiast would whisper to another. It's one of only a handful known. These rare survivors were authenticated, analyzed, and eventually documented in numismatic records as some of the rarest modern British coins in existence. But rarity alone wasn't what made this coin special. Its allure lay in its perfect combination of history, beauty, and mystery. Every tiny detail, from the delicate inscription, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 1993 inch, around the Queen's portrait to the deep reddish glow of the bronze, carried the legacy of a monarchy that had guided the United Kingdom for over 4 decades. Each surviving specimen seemed to hold a piece of that era, a time when Britain was reshaping itself for a new century, and the Royal Mint was transitioning toward technological innovation. Collectors often say that coins are like time machines. They transport you back to the very moment they were struck, to the sounds, the politics, and the spirit of that age. Holding a 1993 one penny is like holding a piece of that story, the late reign of Queen Elizabeth II, when the world was watching Britain adapt to new challenges while honoring its traditions. For coin lovers, the thrill of the hunt is irresistible. Decades after its release, the 1993 one penny became a target for treasure seekers. People began checking their old coin jars, examining every penny under bright lights and magnifiers, hoping to spot the elusive bronze piece or an unusual strike. Videos spread online showing how to test a penny with a magnet, and viewers were astonished to learn that a coin worth 1 penny could, under the right circumstances, fetch millions. Auction houses, too, began taking notice. When one particularly pristine specimen, confirmed to be struck in bronze and featuring an immaculate proof finish, appeared at a private auction, bidding started modestly but quickly skyrocketed. Collectors from around the world joined in, recognizing the sheer rarity and historical importance of the coin. The hammer eventually fell at a jaw-dropping price, millions of dollars for what was once just pocket change. That sale marked the moment when the 1993 one penny crossed from being a curiosity to a global numismatic legend. What makes this coin's story even more fascinating is its connection to Elizabeth II herself. The Queen's portrait on this coin was one of the last by Raphael Maklauf before the Royal Mint transitioned to the fourth portrait by Ian Rank Broadley in 1998. Maklauf's depiction was known for its elegance and idealism, capturing Her Majesty in a way that emphasized timeless grace rather than age. Collectors revere this design because it reflects the stability and dignity that defined much of her reign. In that sense, the 1993 one penny is not just a coin, it's a tribute to an era of continuity and national pride. Some numismatists speculate that a few of these coins might have been part of presentation sets intended for officials or collectors, but were mistakenly mixed into circulation. Others suggest that prototype pieces struck in bronze were accidentally released. These mysteries only add to the coin's legend, each theory adding another layer of allure. Top 2. The 2007 one penny has become a topic of fascination for collectors around the world. We have to travel back through time, to the heart of British numismatic tradition, where every design tells a story, and every metal surface carries centuries of heritage. The British penny, though now often seen as a small and simple denomination, once stood as one of the pillars of British currency. Since its first appearance over 1,000 years ago, the penny has evolved not only in size and composition but also in meaning, marking the rise and fall of empires, monarchs, and economic eras. By 2007, Queen Elizabeth II had already reigned for more than half a century. Her portrait on coins had evolved through 5 official effigies, each capturing a different chapter of her reign, from youthful grace to regal wisdom. The one penny of 2007 proudly displayed the 4th portrait of Her Majesty, designed by sculptor Ian Rank Broadley. Introduced in 1998, this depiction was known for its realism. It showed the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, one of her favorite and most recognized jewels. Unlike previous portraits that softened her features, Rank Broadley's design embraced maturity and strength, portraying a monarch who had endured and led through decades of change. The obverse side, therefore, was not just an image but a testament to stability. Around her portrait were the inscriptions: Elizabeth II DG Reg FD 2007, standing for Elizabeth II Dei Grazia Regina Fidei Defensor, meaning, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Every letter was perfectly balanced, engraved with the precision that has made the Royal Mint one of the most respected institutions in the world. Now let's turn to the reverse, a design that carries a proud national symbol. The reverse of the 2007 one penny features the badge of the Prince of Wales, consisting of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet. Beneath the feathers, a ribbon bears the famous German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This design, created by Christopher Ironside, had been in use since the decimalization of British currency in 1971. Ironside, a master coin designer, intended for this motif to represent unity, service, and noble duty, values that resonated deeply with the spirit of the British monarchy, Minted in copper-plated steel, the 2007 penny weighed 3.56 grams and measured 20.3 millimeters in diameter. Its smooth edge and shiny surface gave it a simple yet elegant character. The Royal Mint had shifted from bronze to copper-plated steel in 1992 due to rising metal costs, and by 2007, this composition had become standard. Yet, while millions of these coins entered circulation, a few, as is often the case with numismatic legends, stood apart due to rare minting errors or limited proof issues. These anomalies are what ignite the excitement of collectors. A misplaced die, a misaligned strike, or even a tiny imperfection in the lettering could elevate a regular coin into a priceless artifact. Some 2007 pennies were struck with slightly off-center designs, while others had doubled lettering or uneven thickness, small deviations that the untrained eye might miss but that collectors treasure as once-in-a-lifetime discoveries. The Royal Mint-proof set of 2007 also featured the penny in its finest form, mirror-like fields with frosted reliefs, encased in presentation sets that now fetch thousands of dollars in pristine condition. These coins, untouched by circulation, showcase the artistry of British minting at its peak. Each proof coin tells not just a story of design but of perfection, made for collectors, historians, and those who understand that a coin's true worth is not always in its face value but in its history and preservation. As we explore further, the significance of the 2007 penny becomes even more fascinating when viewed against the backdrop of British coinage changes that followed shortly after. Just a year later, in 2008, the Royal Mint introduced a completely redesigned series of coins, forming a new shield of the royal arms across the denominations. This meant that the 2007 design was the last full year that the Ironside reverse appeared across all circulating pennies, marking the end of an era that had lasted for nearly 4 decades. That historical cutoff instantly made 2007 a sentimental year for collectors who cherished the old designs. Imagine holding a 2007 one penny. You're not just holding a piece of metal, but the final whisper of a design era that linked generations. For many, it was the coin of childhood, the penny that clinked in pockets, savings jars, and vending machines. And for numismatists, it became the bridge between the traditional and the modern, the moment before Britain's coins took on a completely new identity. But what truly pushes the 2007 Elizabeth II one penny into the realm of legend are the rare variants that escaped the mint unnoticed. Among these are specimens with wrong planchets, where a penny was mistakenly struck on a 2-pence blank or on the wrong metallic disc altogether. These errors are exceedingly rare and can make the coin worth thousands, or even millions, depending on condition and authenticity. Numismatic experts have documented a few examples of such anomalies surfacing in private collections, auction houses, and even among everyday pocket change finds that shock their owners. One remarkable story involves a British collector who discovered a 2007 penny with a peculiar surface tone and unusual thickness. Upon examination by the London Coin Grading Service, it was found to have been struck on a foreign planchet, possibly one intended for a different denomination. The coin was later auctioned for a staggering sum, highlighting how the smallest minting quirks can create monumental value. The allure of the 2007 penny also lies in its connection to Queen Elizabeth II's enduring legacy. Each coin minted during her reign carries her image, but by 2007, she had already become the most depicted person on currency in world history. Collectors cherish these coins as more than mere currency. They are relics of a monarch whose influence spanned continents and eras. After her passing in 2022, demand for coins bearing her portrait surged dramatically. The 2007 penny, with its classic pre-redesign aesthetic and its timing at the twilight of her fourth effigy, became a sought-after collectible almost overnight. Collectors around the world, from Britain to Australia, from Canada to the United States, began seeking these coins in uncirculated or proof condition. Dealers reported skyrocketing interest, and online auctions saw fierce bidding wars over high-grade examples certified by major grading authorities like NGC and PCGS. Coins graded MS70 or PR70, the highest possible perfection, now fetch astonishing prices, often many times their weight in gold. It's fascinating to see how something as small as a penny could carry such immense historical, and emotional weight. The 2007 Elizabeth II 1 penny embodies a blend of nostalgia, artistry, and royal heritage, a trinity that continues to captivate numismatists. Each tiny detail, from the gleam of the tiara to the curve of the feathers, reflects not only human craftsmanship but also a nation's identity frozen in time. As time passes, coins like these become even more valuable. Not just in money, but in meaning. They are reminders of a world that's constantly changing, and yet, within each minted circle, there's permanence. The 2007 penny remains a symbol of continuity, of a monarch's grace, and of a design philosophy that valued beauty in simplicity. Top 3. The year is 2009, and the coin in question is the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny. At first glance, it appears ordinary, small, copper-plated steel, and unassuming, but behind its simple design lies one of the most fascinating tales in British coinage history. This is the story of a coin that captured the hearts of collectors worldwide, a story that eventually turned a humble 1 penny coin into a treasure worth an unbelievable $13 million. The story begins in the aftermath of one of the most significant design changes in British numismatic history. In 2008, the Royal Mint unveiled a brand new design for the reverse sides of all circulating coins, an innovative concept that would see the coins come together like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle to form the Royal Shield of Arms. Each denomination represented a portion of the shield, and when placed together, they revealed the complete national emblem. The 1 penny coin, carrying the lower left section of the Royal Shield, was simple yet striking, a perfect blend of tradition and modern artistry. But by 2009, something unusual was about to happen. As the Royal Mint prepared to strike millions of new coins for circulation, a very small batch of 1 penny coins somehow slipped through production carrying the old reverse design, the crown portcullis design that had been in use since 1971. This was a major blunder, and like all great numismatic mysteries, no one noticed it immediately. These era coins, though tiny in number, would later spark a frenzy among collectors. It's believed that only a handful of these misstruck 2009 1 penny coins escaped into public circulation before the mistake was caught and corrected. For most people, the 2009 1 penny looked like any other coin in their change. It was light, reddish in color, made from copper-plated steel, and carried the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse side. Designed by Ian Rank Broadley, this fourth definitive portrait of the Queen had been in use since 1998. The Queen's effigy faces right, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a symbol of grace and stability. Around her portrait, the legend reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, followed by the year 2009. These details, though small, embody centuries of British coinage tradition. On the reverse, however, things were changing. The official 2009 design was supposed to feature the section of the Royal Shield, created by artist Matthew Dent, as part of the rebranding that modernized UK coinage. But for reasons that remain uncertain, perhaps a die mix-up or an oversight during transition, a few coins were struck using the old reverse die from the previous series. This meant that some 2009 1 pennies bore the crown portcullis design, an image that had represented Britain's historic connection to Parliament since the reign of Henry VIII. Collectors who stumbled upon these rare coins had no idea at first of their significance. Imagine finding a penny in your change and noticing something slightly odd about it: the wrong reverse design, a different shine, or an unfamiliar texture. Many people spent these coins without a second thought, but a few sharp-eyed enthusiasts began to notice the anomaly. When word spread that a tiny batch of 2009 1 pennies carried the wrong reverse, the numismatic community erupted in excitement. To understand why this coin became so valuable, one must first appreciate the history of the British penny itself. The penny has existed in one form or another for over 1,000 years, tracing its roots to the silver pennies of Anglo-Saxon kings. Over time, the denomination evolved through changes in material, size, and design, reflecting Britain's changing economy and monarchy. In 1971, when the United Kingdom switched to a decimal currency system, the modern 1 penny coin was born, smaller, copper in color, and part of a new decimal set designed to replace the old system of pounds, shillings, and pence. For decades, the penny remained a symbol of everyday life in Britain. It was found in every pocket, purse, and jar of loose change. Yet, among billions of common coins, a few stood out due to rare minting errors, low mintages, or unique design variations. These are the coins that collectors dream of, the ones that tell extraordinary stories hidden behind their ordinary faces. The 2009 one penny became one such legend. While its composition, copper-plated steel, was standard, its story was anything but. When the Royal Mint confirmed that a small number of 2009 coins with the old reverse design had indeed been struck in error, collectors rushed to search through their change, hoping to find one of the elusive pieces. News outlets picked up the story, describing it as one of the most intriguing minting errors of the decade. For a coin with a face value of just 1 penny, it suddenly became an object of intense desire. But rarity alone wasn't the only reason this coin captured imaginations. The 2009 one penny symbolized a turning point, a moment when Britain's coinage transitioned from one historic era to another. The old portcullis design, representing centuries of royal and parliamentary authority, gave way to the modern, minimalist depiction of the royal shield, reflecting a contemporary Britain that respected its past but looked boldly to the future. The rare 2009 one penny bridged these two worlds, carrying both the legacy of tradition and the intrigue of modern minting. Over time, collectors began to pay staggering prices for confirmed examples of this rare coin. At auctions, early sales of verified 2009 portcullis pennies fetched hundreds, then thousands, of pounds. As the number of known examples remained incredibly small, demand soared even higher. Each coin was carefully examined for authenticity, its weight, magnetic properties, and design details meticulously compared with regular 2009 issues. What truly fascinated numismatists was the mystery of how such a mistake occurred at one of the world's most advanced mints. The Royal Mint, known for precision and quality, rarely allowed such errors to leave its facility. Some experts speculated that leftover dies from 2008 were accidentally used, while others suggested a transitional experiment that inadvertently entered circulation. Whatever the cause, the result was a tiny run of coins that would become the stuff of legend. As the years passed, the 2009 one penny error gained mythical status among collectors. Stories circulated of people finding one in their old coin jars, only to discover later that it was worth more than a luxury car. In one extraordinary case, a pristine uncirculated example of the 2009 era penny reportedly sold for over £100,000 at a private sale. Its buyer, a seasoned collector, described it as the Holy Grail of modern British coinage. What makes this coin's story even more enchanting is the emotional connection people feel when they discover something so rare in their everyday change. It's the idea that treasure can still exist in plain sight, a reminder that history can be found in the smallest, most ordinary things. For collectors, this emotional value often outweighs even the financial worth. This has been HD Ultra Rare Coins, where every coin has a story, and every story leads to discovery. Remember, the next great treasure might already be in your pocket, waiting for you to find it.